Okay, this video is going to be for the under populations. It's going to be Project World Hunger Digital. So we're going to click on that. And I have an example here. It'll also be in the slides. I do have how to upload for later after you're done. And I will be including timestamps underneath the description that let you know where each section starts, so that you can skip to the section that you need. So we're going to click on this link down here. All right. And so this is my example, or my slide, so it's obviously not going to let you type in it. So we're going to go to File and make a copy, an entire presentation. Here we're going to take out copy of and type in your name. And then we're going to click OK. And close this one. All right. This is just the example so that you can scroll kind of up and down to get to, you can jump from slide 4 back to the first one to see what you need. Slide 2 has the rubric and it's also a checklist. So each time you finish something, I did put this emoji in here that you can just copy and then paste for each thing as you complete it. You can also just type done or complete or finished for each thing. It doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that you do end up with all these elements. I've noticed in other projects, people do not have all the elements. And that's when you run into problems and lose a lot of points. All right. For now, we're going to skip slide 3 because we don't really need it yet. And I don't want to get too much into describing the instructions for this. All right, so let's go to slide 4, and we're going to start with making the title. I'm going to take this little box, and I'm just going to move it down, kind of out of the way. I'm going to go in here where it says click to add title. And you can come up with anything that's really catchy to pay attention to world hunger. One of the easy ones to do, and I am fine with you copying this, is just end world hunger and or stop world hunger. And put the exclamation mark or not. Now you have quite a few choices that you need to make. I am going to do a few things because it is my preference, but you can be a little creative as long as in the end it looks pleasing to the eye. So one of my things is I would prefer this be centered. So I'm going to click here. Now, if your screen is smaller, there will be another little piece right here that has 3 dots and it says more. So maybe I can show you. Yeah. So if I do this, I've made it smaller. Here are the 3 dots and I could click that and get some more things. Probably format options, something like that. All right, so my screen is pretty large. So I've got the box. You can also highlight the text if you're having problems with clicking on the box. And I am going to click here and I'm going to center it. If you plan on putting any kind of background in this box, I do suggest you make this smaller so that it doesn't stretch all the way across. I'm not going to do that, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to decide on putting this in the middle of the entire thing. So I'm going to go down until, until I see that other red line there, and then I'm going to release. The center of this is normally at, I think, just above, like kind of just right there. And then the other center is at 5, just to give you an idea. All right. So before I get into the font, I'm going to change the background because it will impact the font that I use. So I'm going to right click, and click on change background. And I am not going to choose image. That's going to be kind of critical because it will look like a hot mess by the end if I add an image. Instead, I'm going to just change the color. And once you click on that, again, you have some choices to make. One is between solid or gradient. So solid, you would just pick the color, whatever one appeals to you. Gradient, you have some other options. Only use custom if you know what you're doing or you're in the mood to play around with something. Otherwise, it's not really worth it right now. I will probably spend some time on other videos showing you some of the details if you're interested. So I'm going to, for no reason at all, use this purple. And now I'm going to click done. Now you can see that my font is pretty dark. It's still you can kind of see it, but it's really not as easy to see. And this is kind of the rule to font color. If you have a dark background, you need light font. If you have a light background, you need dark font. If you have a dark background, you need light font. For me to be able to see it. And when we're making like a poster, you want people to be able to see it, read it very, very quickly. And you don't want them thinking about, oh, what does that say? Oh, that's really hard to read. Oh, that's too bright. So I would honestly avoid some of the like neon colors, especially as the background. So I think I'm gonna go with yellow. So that's a pretty bright color. I would not maybe do the whole background in yellow because, or at least this kind of yellow, it would be super bright. Maybe this other yellow that's a little more pastel. Alright. So now I've changed the color. Now I'm going to change the font type because Arial is boring. And now you get to kind of choose again and really pick something that kind of appeals to you. You do want to take into account that you want this to appeal to other people as well. Posters are for other people to look at, so it's not just about you. So I'm gonna try and go with this one. Okay, I'm gonna go with something that's maybe a little bit. Yeah. Now this one's a little small, so I'm just going to crease it a little bit. Not too much because we are going to be putting some pictures in here, so you don't want to end up with like no space. So I've increased the size, I've chosen a script, I've changed the color so that we can see it. It pretty much stands out, it's easy to see. So I'm going to go back to my rubric and I finished the title. So I'm going to take my little smiley face and copy it. And I'm going to put it in here. That it's done. So paste it. So next thing is we need 5 facts, each in different text boxes. Now is where we're going to come to slide 3. And we're going to pay attention to this bottom part down here. These are the 3 websites I've kind of picked up so that, and you can use your own if you want to. This is just kind of, I tried to pick some where it was in list form and it was easier to get to, and I'm just going to go ahead and open all 3. You really only need to go with one. You don't need to use things from all 3. Alright, So what I'm gonna do is go with this one, and I'm going to, on this one, I'm gonna scroll till I get to this, because this is shorter. Hang on, let's check something right quick. Is there more down here? This is probably the best area, is that kind of lists it instead of it being in a bunch of paragraphs. So I'm going to try and pick some short things. So let's go with maybe this one. Current estimates are that nearly 690 million people are hungry. So I'm just going to go with this first part. You want this to be short. You do not want people staring at a poster and reading it for 60 seconds or more. If they're looking at a poster, they need to be able to read everything, every fact, within about 30 seconds. If it takes longer than that, it's gonna not be great. Let's put it that way. Alright. So I do have this extra box that I'm going to use. I'm gonna paste this in here. Now I could fill with this font. To make it easier instruction wise, I'm just gonna open another text box and put it over here. And later on, I'll just delete this and I will keep putting the things I'm copying into the same area, and that way I don't have to mess with the highlight and all the other stuff. But I am going to just copy what it says. So current. So this is nice and short. It is not a long sentence. All right. And I'm actually going to change the font. Well, no, I could do it here and then. No, I'm gonna do it later. So I'm gonna get my 5 facts and then I'll go into fixing stuff up. You can do it, at the same time, but alright, this one. The world is not on track to achieve zero hunger by 2030. That is I don't think it's a program. It's kind of like a goal, a project, right? So I'm gonna paste it in. I just pasted it over that one, and I'm gonna do another text box. Just insert it. So I'm just doing this, the box with the T in it, to insert. And then I'm just going to type it again. Alright, so run that again. And it is important to note that I do not, want all of this in one box. I want 5 different boxes spread out across here. I think I'm going, I'll use this one. This will be my last one from this website, and then I'll use the others. So again, text box. Well, no, wait. I'm pasting it in here, and then I'll make a text box. I don't want to fiddle with all this. Websites will already have their font formats in there that they have in the background. Alright, and again, I'm kind of working on lining this up. This might not be important to you, apologies if you hear dogs in the background. It is the time for people to come home. Alright. I'm not sure if this one, alright. Women and girls make up 60%. So I'm gonna take this one. And again, I'm putting it in here. And that really is just easier for me than fiddling with all the font differences and stuff like that. It's just and now you can start seeing how dark this gets. And it is a little difficult to see. Alright. And I need one more, but I will be fixing this. Let's take one. I think this is the one that when you highlight it, it might turn, yeah, I think it turns white because you can see how it turns white here. So actually, I'm not going to use that because that I don't even want to fiddle with it. Okay. And again, my final fact, I'm going to just keep pasting into this same one so that I can delete it later and not worry about it. Alright, so again, I'm going to click on text. I'm going to click here, and I'm just going to type. Alright, so I type that, and now I'm going to just click. If you click on the box, you can't click in here and delete. It's not going to work. You need to click on the line of the box, and you can't have a cursor. If the cursor isn't bouncing around in there, you're good. Alright, and then click delete, or backspace, or whatever. Kind of been using that middle point as a gauge of how big I want the box to be. Okay. So now I'm gonna jazz this up a little bit. The other thing is any kind of thing that's underlined. Let's say, let's say I spelled nutrition wrong. Anytime you see this, if I end up seeing something with a red line under it, I'm taking points off in the design category because it is distracting. It is not attractive. So you need to go in here, click on the word, right click, and it fixes it for you. So there's no real reason for that to exist. I don't care how bad you spelled it. All right. So again, when we edit this, you want to make sure you click on the box. So if I click in here and the cursor's blinking, it's not going to do what I want it to do. Now I could highlight everything and that'd be fine too. So I'm going to go with, actually I'm going to keep it lined up on the left. You can center it. I'm definitely going to change the font color to make it easier to see. Try that. Oh, yeah, look. Okay. So I'm going to go in here and just, I do recommend using the same color all the way around. It kind of works better with your eye if you kind of have a theme, and I think you want to stick to, I think 2 to 3 colors really is like the kind of recommended for any websites, anything like that, you can play with it, and some people are really good at creating something that looks good with a lot of different aspects, but I suggest going more simple, unless you have that talent. All right, now I'm going to go into the font type. Arial is boring. And I'm going to try this one. This one. I like that one a little bit better. You can pick whatever, but again, you want this to be very quick to read. Somebody should be able to read this easily. It is not just about you. A poster is you communicating to others, and if they cannot understand what you are trying to tell them, then most people will just walk away and not look at it. If you're standing behind it, they might pay attention, but... Alright, so we've got 5 facts. I changed my font. I'm going to go back to slide 2, and I am going to put in the smiley face for this being done. Alright, next we're going to create a graph with world hunger data. This is probably the most complicated part, so make sure you pay attention and pause when you need to. So we're going to go to slide 3. And so this is what these top 2 are what we're going to need for this. So I'm going to go to sheets.google.com. And also this guy. And I'm going to do a blank. So we're opening a blank Google Sheet. Alright, so you're opening a blank one. Alright. And we need to name it. And so this is gonna be, let's just do like world hunger data. Okay. Here we go. Hang on, I think I need to, nope, that's the thing I need. This one can go now. Alright. So this is where our information is going to come from. And this is a really cool thing that they've made where you can control this globe and click on different elements to kind of show you in detail like what's going on. And so the orange shows you the number of undernourishment in the millions. So we're talking the specific number. And then the gray is the percentage. And so you can already see here 378.7 million, and then 8.3% is there. And then so you see more here, there's some up here. I highly suggest for your data you use either Africa or Asia. The other ones are not as easy and with the amount of data that you have. Alright, so I'm gonna do, let's make sure we do the orange and not the percentage. Let's actually do the orange. So we're gonna try Africa. Alright, and now I've got a bunch of countries. Alright, so once I click on this, now it tells me how many. So now we're gonna start our chart. I'm gonna go back to my sheet here. And in column A, I'm going to put country. And then in B, I'm going to put, wait, what was it called again? It was number of undernourishment. So I'm gonna put number of hungry because, or amount of hungry because I do not want to write undernourishment or type it. Not that bad for me still. All right. So I've got this. Now I'm gonna go into. I'm gonna pick a few countries. So probably some of the best ones to pick are the ones that are bigger. So here we've got Ethiopia. So first I'm going to look how to spell it. Ethiopia. Try to pick some that you can actually spell. Alright, and Ethiopia has 21.5. So 21.5. And that's what I'm going to put. Off to the later when we've got a graph, we'll put in there million. Alright, so Ethiopia and 21. Come back here. And here it specifies. Alright, so I don't think it lets you, it doesn't let you copy it. Alright, so Nigeria. Nigeria. I think we need to have at least 5 countries. 24.6. You want to make sure that you do not put 24.6 million. This column needs to just be for the numbers. Alright, so I've got 2 countries and 2 numbers. Let's see. Alright. For me, this is kind of long. I guess I could just put Tanzania. Let's just put Tanzania. I'm just gonna put Tanzania, and that's it. Tanzania. 14.1. And you can also actually, while you're doing this, I could pull this over to the right hand side. Like, come on. And then just click on this guy. So it's split. And then you can see the actual name a little bit better. So you can, yeah. Okay. Let's do Kenya. Probably should have done this way earlier. For people that they could do this. So I've got 4 countries. I'm going to go with one more. Because I want to go with something that's not too long either. Because I'm not. We have. Let's do Rwanda. Rwanda, and it's gonna be 4.4. Okay. Now, so that it understands, I'm gonna bold this. Normally, Google's pretty smart. Let's just put it that way. Alright, so what we're gonna do is you're going to click where country is. You're gonna highlight all the way down here. Just like that. Now, alright. We're gonna click insert, and we're gonna put in a chart. So click insert and then chart. Alright, so now it will put in a default amount, right? A default type. You can decide what kinds you want to use. Do you want to use a pie chart? Do you want to use a bar graph? Or a column chart? Or that is not, a line chart is not good. It's not gonna do much. Or you can also, when you go to pie chart, do one of these. Or You can do the 3D one. I like the 3D one. Oh. Let me turn that 3D. That's interesting. So that, but then I do. I think it's kind of interesting to see. And so here we're going to. So this is giving us some percentages. Hold on a second. That's not what I want though. I don't want percentages. I just want customize. That's why customize not. That is why a pie chart's probably not the best idea. You probably want to get a linear, because that, so a pie graph is probably not a good way to go. All right, so once we've got this, drag it down a little bit so you can just pull it down. All right, stacking a new. All right, yep, everything else looks kind of good. So then I can close this. So that is not right. So once we need to fix some of this other stuff. All right, so this is not right. All right, so this is supposed to be amount of hungry people by country. And then it did get this right. So country, and then we've got amount of hungry. Now this is where we want to put. You click in here, but it has to be amount of hungry in millions, like that. And now you can also play with this a little bit. You can change like title text color, or I might, wait, title text, right? It is text, okay. I might change it to purple. Up here, maybe I change this one to, no, not blue, because the bars are in blue. So I'm gonna use something darker. All right, I'll bold it. Stands out a little bit more. These are, again, these are like optional things. Alignment, I'm gonna put it at the center. And since this is in pink, I think I want to, or purple rather. I'll make this one and something else. So I'm gonna put it in purple down there. Click on the bars, I can change that too. So this could be like where you're like, okay, I want it to kind of match a little bit the you know, my poster. So I'm like, okay, my poster is purple. What do I want here? Actually, might change that to a purple as well. Maybe a brighter purple. That's not cute. Change purple too. All right. Should I bold it? Maybe. Yeah. I always like to bold stuff like this so it really kind of pops, stands out. I think you can also change the title font. It's not going to let you do anything too crazy because you need to be able to see it. But I do like. Does it need me to? Why that? Okay, I double clicked on it and now I'm going to change it to. It doesn't want to let me. Fine, I'll just leave it. Stay that way. Okay, so this is pretty good. Pretty satisfied with this. Don't like, I think this isn't black. All right. Now, all I need to do is I'm going to click on my graph so that everything's around it. And I'm just going to right click. And I am going to click. I'm going to click Control C. Okay. Control C. Then I go back here. And now I'm going to go back here. And now, in here, I'm going to hit Control V. This really depends if you want to link it or not. Really, you can just click paste unlinked. It doesn't matter that much. And there's your chart. And so now we might, this ended up actually fitting pretty good. But you might want to, at this point, start moving some stuff around. So, you might make this go just a little bit higher because, so it's further away from this. And another option, you don't have to do this, but I want to add a border. It just makes it pop out a little bit more, and it makes it look put together. Borders are up here, and I'm going to do like a 3. And I'm going to change it to completely black. I don't really like the gray. I don't know why that's the default. Alright, so here's my chart. So that's perfect. The way I want it. 5 countries. Everything is labeled. So anytime you need to make a chart, that is how you can do it. So at that point, you can just close this. If you paste it unlinked, you could even like move it to the trash. If you linked it, you better not do that. All right, so now we get to go to, we made a graph. Now we're going to copy this and put it here that we completed this. All right, now we just need 2 or more pictures that are relevant to hunger and starvation. All right, so I'm going to go to Insert and Image, and I'm just going to search the web. And I think I'm just going to put, starving because maybe drawing because it's looking a little scary. Or clip art. Clip art might be better. In the world is going on here? Getting too happy. Alright, so I put poor and hungry, which seems to be giving me a decent result. Now you just need to find some things that will kind of fit with what you're looking for. You can use real pictures if you want to. I would, if you're using real pictures, I would do 2 real ones. That way, it just looks better. Alright, so I'm gonna go with this one. And it's gonna be gigantic. So I'm going to make this way smaller. I'll put her right in there. Why is she so? Alright, so if I want to format her, I can right click and click format options. And I can change something. So if I want to, I don't know, color. I'm not really liking how, like, I don't know. She's not very vibrant. Let's just, she's kind of hard to see. That didn't help much. I might just abandon the oh, I could probably do a brighter one, right? Kind of goes with the font. Let's go with that. Now I need one more picture. Insert image. there's the web, and it normally does come up with the default kind of stuff. I wish there was one that was more like an empty bowl or something. It does have to be relevant. Like up there was this like fat chicken, and like, I don't know what that's about. Fine, I'll use this guy. Whoever made her, I think this is similar. Give me over here. Yeah. And because I changed her, I think I'm gonna change him too. So again, I'm gonna go to, I can go format up here or over here. So right click, and I'm gonna go format options, and I'm gonna recolor him. And they do look a little bit better, kind of. I don't know. They're still kind of. All right, let's see. Ooh. Do just a little of that, and no, that's not helping. Yeah. Oh no, it's actually helping much. To lower the contrast a little bit, I guess. Something for this girl. Whoa. Longer picture. Just a little bit. And you can play with all of this and see. You can always hit reset. I think that's about good. So this is kind of simple. I didn't go too crazy, but it does look neat. It does, depending on the picture you use, you can add another border. Especially if it's a real life picture, adding a border will make it look more put together. All right, and then I'm going to go back to slide 2. And I finished my 2 pictures. I will copy my emoji and put it in there. All right. And this is overall design. So I'm going to just go back. I'm going to double check. I'm like, all right, pretty good. Color looks good. So I can go back here and I can also just copy this and put it down to the bottom one. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I put some effort in changing font and stuff. Looks good. So now I have all of my things complete. Before I upload, I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to leave the rubric. I'm going to delete this slide. I'm also going to delete this slide. And I think I'm going to actually swap the rubric in this. So the first thing people see is okay. I'm going to move it down. And now the first thing they will see is this. So this is how it looks finished. Ta-da! So, yep. And that is it.